But I don't, again, still fully support the Patriot Act. I agree with sunsets, and I think Glenn is right on that. Like, you want to have sunsets, and if Barack Obama gets rid of sunsets, you want to re-implement the sunsets or take away the policy if you think it's not valid anymore. Right. But, the government is set up to be able to reverse these things. I mean, we reverse constitutional amendments, and you have to be able to change these things. And I want that possibility with the Patriot Act, but let's be honest about it. The Patriot Act has done what it was set out to do. It stopped a lot of attacks, and I'm not willing to give those up for what the cost has been so far. I'm not willing to give those up. Are you?
So you're saying that you're willing to sacrifice your freedom for your security? Is that what I'm getting from you?
No, I haven't lost any freedom. I haven't lost a bit of it. In fact, I haven't seen anything that makes me believe that this has been misused.
That's where it was with the Bush administration, because people would scream wireless, warrantless wiretapping, blah blah blah, all that surveillance stuff. Okay. How many times have you been warrantlessly wiretapped? What freedoms have been taken away from you so far? Who has been imprisoned? Show me the Muslim family that's been rounded up without any attorneys.
Right.
It just doesn't happen.
Right.
But I think we're on the precipice right now. I think we're on the brink of things going radically wrong. So I'm leery now.
It does seem that
the whole Patriot Act.
Because I think you buy in there to what Glenn was saying, which is essentially you should never give the government power because eventually somebody will misuse it. I understand that that's true, but I also understand that we have to make sure that we take that power back. I mean, I don't think that the Patriot Act. The bottom line is these guys do whatever the heck they want to do behind the scenes. When it comes down to it, like the whole torture thing is a good example of it. I mean, they could say they're not going to torture anybody all they want, but when it comes down to it, and there's a bomb ticking. Barack Obama's policy is not going to be on the mind of a guy who's in the field trying to save Americans' lives. He's going to do
Jack Bauer.
Yeah, exactly.
Give you Jack Bauer.
He is going to do what he thinks is right to save people's lives. Yes. And you can have all these policy discussions, and afterwards, if he does something that's wrong, he should be punished for it. And that's the same thing with Bush. When he had the Patriot Act, it gave him some additional tools to stop terrorist attacks. It worked to do those things. If he stepped over the line at certain points, then he should get in trouble for it. But I haven't seen that. And I haven't seen it yet from Obama. We can talk about that we don't like him or we don't like what he's doing, but I have not seen any specific things yet that make me believe he's abusing that clause. We need, and I feel like just because, I'm sitting here, 100 blocks or so from the World Trade Center. And I feel like just because that seems like it's way down the road in our past, of 9 years ago, and now we're talking about economic issues, it's easy to blow that stuff off. Well, that's real. I mean, that's still a big hole down there. And, I don't think that they overstepped their bounds with that stuff, and I think that it was valuable and necessary, and I'm glad they did it. So there you go. I guess I'm the one who loves America around here. I guess I'm the only one who doesn't side with the terrorists.
Freedom.
I hate freedom.
Hate freedom, but love America.
It's one of those two things.
I guess that's where we are. All right. Bobby in Columbus, Ohio.
Hi.
Hey, you're on the fourth hour.
It's an honor to talk to you guys. I had called to ask Glenn, but I'll pose the question to you and Pat.
Okay.
Has anybody ever run on a socialist ticket and won a seat in Congress?
Yes. Sanders.
Yes, that's not actually. Well, he did not run on the socialist ticket. He is an admitted socialist, but he's an independent.
Independent. Or an independent,
Yeah. That's a good question. I know if you look back at presidential races, I mean, there are times where socialists, show up fairly prominently. I mean, they get a few percentage points, at least hundreds of thousands of votes, I believe. In some of those races. What was that guy named?
To win?
But to win.
I don't think so.
I don't know if there's ever been an actual congressman, but it's certainly possible.
Well,
as a rule, we don't like socialists in this country.
The reason I asked was because on my application for an absentee ballot, socialist is on there.
Well, they are an active party. In fact, there's several of them that are active. It's not even just one socialist party. There are several socialist parties that are active around America, and there are several communist parties that are active around America. I embrace that because honestly, you want to have those ideas out there. I want them out there being argued in their legitimate form instead of this sort of mishmash of, what's socialism? Yes, we do the exact same thing.
As long as you're open and honest about it, I love that.
Yeah.
Now, it's the problem comes when you're a socialist, but you're running as something else. Or you're a Marxist, and you run and win as something else.
Right.
That's where I have... Now, I can't think of any examples at all to point to.
No.
Well, I can't think of a single example of when that's happened.
Yeah, no.
Where somebody has run on something else. I mean, anything else. Yeah, pick something. I mean, even something as simple as, I don't know, hope.
Or change or something.
Or change. Mm-hmm. And then, but they turn out to be a socialist or a Marxist.
That can't.
Now, that bothers me a lot.
But it wouldn't happen in this country.
It wouldn't happen. It
No.
just, where our eyes are too wide open.
Yeah.
So.
Back at the socialist history, the Socialist Party of America, Eugene Debs, which he's famous for something else, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but he won over 900,000 votes in 1912 and 1920. And they actually say here, while the party also elected members of Victor L. Berger and Meyer London were two...
I voted for his brother Ham.
There are two members of the United States House of Representatives who were actually elected as socialists and part of the Social Party. London was of New York City, and Victor Berger of Milwaukee. And they also had many mayors and legislators. Shockingly enough, I mean, if Glenn were in here, he'd be going, "That's because of the progressives." In 19, and then that would be the end of the show. So we'll skip that part of it. But yes, there were a couple.
Wow, that's interesting. All right, Pat in Tennessee, you're on the fourth hour.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hey,
Thank
good.
you for taking my call.
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. My husband's a huge fan. He's been going to Washington, all these tea parties. I have been too, but I was working, and I just recently got laid off. But my question is, I've been on my time off reading about this health care bill, and I'm kind of wondering, my two boys are serving in Iraq. Our boys are in Iraq right now with the National Guard.
Mm-hmm.
When they come home, they're going to lose their medical coverage because they'll go back to regular National Guardsmen don't have medical insurance. Are they going to fall under these people that are going to be under the poverty level? Because they couldn't get a job before they left, and they're not going to have a job when they come back. Does that mean they're going to be eligible for Medicaid on this health care bill?
Pat, do you have an answer to that?
I don't know. Frankly, I not knowing all the specifics of their situation, I'm not sure. But if they are under the poverty level, they'd probably qualify for Medicaid right now. I mean,
well,
even without
$29,327 for a family of four. Well,
yeah.
See, when they left, they had orders to deploy. Well, nobody would hire them because they knew they had orders to deploy.
Right.
And by law, they have to tell potential employers that they have orders to go to Iraq. Well, nobody would hire them. So basically, my husband and I were basically supporting them, other than getting odd jobs and finding things off of Craigslist to help people clean out something. Well, now they're due to come back this summer, and again, will be unemployed. And
you don't want them sponging off you and your husband, right?
Oh, my goodness. No. But
this is the anguish of a mother who raised her kids. She's been there. She's done that. She's taken care of them. She wiped enough noses. She changed enough diapers. She fed enough kids. She cooked enough dinners. Now she and her husband want to move on, and they don't want the kids at home sponging off them. I feel your pain. I do. I feel your pain, Pat. But the thing is, they'd be eligible for help right now before this thing even passes, and that's part of the problem with this whole healthcare madness to begin with. Is we've already had provisions for people who were under the poverty line. We already had provisions for people who didn't have health insurance.
Giant programs in effect already.
We've had all of these programs all of this time, and everybody always has access to health care. Show me the person we let die in the streets, and then I'll tell you, okay, yes, we should have probably passed this thing. People are not piling up in the streets due to lack of health care. It's just not happening. I just don't buy it.
Well, I mean, I don't understand why you don't listen to our president. Our president has told us over and over again that when you walk in to work, you're constantly stepping over dead people on the sidewalk because of lack of health care.
Yes.
No one's being treated, Pat. Every person who has cancer is being thrown out on the street without any chemo. And apparently that's the way our doctors do it because they only care about profit.
And how many feetless people have we seen because doctors amputating their feet
and how many
legs.
people have had their feet amputated and replaced in their tonsils when the tonsils are replaced with their feet? That's wrong, America.
This is the fourth hour, part of the Insider Extreme at GlennBeck.com.